Today's tale from the Panchatantra is called The Story of Merchant Dantila, a lesson in humility, influence, and understanding how even the smallest voices can shape the course of events. In the vibrant city of Vardhamana, there lived a wealthy and respected merchant named Dantila. He was wise, successful, and held in high regard not only by the people but even by the king himself. He was a trusted advisor, his words carried weight, his presence commanded respect. The Panchatantra says, "He who wins the trust of both king and people is a rare man, wise, careful, and thoughtful." One day, Dantila organized a lavish wedding for his daughter. Nobles, ministers, and dignitaries filled the hall. But in the midst of this joyous occasion, one man walked in uninvited, a simple palace sweeper named Goramba. Seeing Goramba take a seat meant for scholars and nobles, Dantila acted quickly. He angrily ordered him to leave and had removed him from the venue. Humiliated and bitter, Goramba couldn't forget the insult. He began to plot a subtle but dangerous revenge. One morning, while sweeping near the king's chambers, Goramba muttered softly, "These days, Dantila even dares to embrace the queen." Though Goramba claimed he was just mumbling, the words had already reached the king's heart. Suspicion crept in. A seed of doubt once planted in the mind of a king grows swiftly. Without any inquiry or chance to explain, Dantila was banished from the court. His influence disappeared overnight. Dantila pondered about the pessimistic truth about relationships, especially those with the powerful. Can one ever find a crow that's truly clean? An honest gambler, a forgiving snake, a wise drunkard, or a king whose friendship remains constant? These were the questions that haunted him. He had never wronged the king, not in word, not in action, not even in his dreams. Yet here he stood, shunned, cast aside, wondering what crime he had committed to deserve such coldness from someone he had only served with loyalty. He soon understood this was the result of his own harsh behavior toward Goramba. Never disrespect even the smallest servant of the king, says the Panchatantra. Their words, if sharp, can cut deeply. Dantila chose wisdom over pride. He invited Goramba to his home, gave him gifts, and politely explained his actions. And impressed by Dantila's humility, Goramba promised to set things right. The next morning, Goramba again mumbled something while sweeping. Strange, the king eats cucumbers in the bathroom. The king thought, "I've never done that. If Goramba lied about this, he could have lied about Dantila too." And with clarity returning, the king called Dantila back and welcomed him again with honor. And so Dantila regained his position, but more importantly, he learned a lesson in humility and respect. Moral of the story: never underestimate the words of even the humblest person. Power must be balanced with wisdom and influence with humility. A single moment of disrespect can undo years of trust. And so, Damanaka said thoughtfully, that is why it is said, a man who out of pride fails to manage the high, the middle, and the low will meet ruin, just like Dantila, who fell from grace despite being the king's favorite. Hearing this, Sanjeevaka agreed, "Brother, you're right. I will do exactly as you say." With that, Damanaka presented Sanjeevaka to Pingalaka, bowed respectfully, and stepped aside. Pingalaka welcomed Sanjeevaka with kindness. "My friend," he asked, "how have you come to this wild jungle?" Sanjeevaka told his tale of misfortune and survival. Moved, Pingalaka said gently, "Fear not, Sanjeevaka. Roam freely under my protection, but stay close. This jungle hides many dangers." With that, Pingalaka drank his fill at the river Karataka and Damanaka. Days turned into weeks. Sanjeevaka wise and learned in the ancient Shastras, enlightened Pingalaka with tales of virtue and wisdom. The lion grew thoughtful and forgot his old feral ways. As the two held secret discussions day and night, the rest of the jungle fell silent. Even Karataka and Damanaka were forbidden to approach. Without their king's protection or leadership, the animals grew restless and hungry, and even the ministers began to despair. Karataka spoke gravely. Brother, we are trapped again. Ever since Pingalaka fell under Sanjivaka's spell, he has neglected his duties. His court has deserted him, and soon so shall we. Tamanaka sighed. Even if the king turns deaf to reason, it is still the minister's duty to guide him back. Damanaka admitted, it is I who brought the grass eaters and Jivaka to the master. I have raked the burning coals myself. As they say, the jackal crushed between the fighting rams and the monk deceived by a trickster only have themselves to blame. And so the seeds of conflict had been sown, but their true harvest was yet to come. Thank you for watching Tales of Wisdom. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe to hear more timeless tales from the Panchatantra, stories that make us think, reflect, and grow. Tap the bell icon to never miss a story. Ancient Stories, Modern Wisdom, only on Tales of Wisdom.